But hey, everybody, welcome to Family Networking. We've got a lighter joining today, partly because somebody forgot to send out the email.
Yeah, you know,
I'm going to fire that guy.
Yeah, I'm
I,
sorry.
I'm telling you, I'm going to fire that guy. My social networking guy is kind of a louse. He doesn't know what he's doing, so he needs to be canned immediately. But uh, we do have joining us today for the first time in the family networking meeting. But a lot of you who have followed the pack channels know this man. Dennis, I'd like to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. I don't think you've ever met Holly, and not sure if
I
you've
don't.
ever met Santa.
oh yes, I know.
I
I know
have. In
Dennis.
fact, Santa participates in a number of other networking events that we are both involved with. So, yes, my name is Dennis Schroeder. I live just north of Nashville, Tennessee, in a little town called White House. I am a 24-year veteran. Spent my time in the Army as a medical service corps officer, retired a long time ago. Brent, thank you for bringing up the book. This is the first book that was published by the nonprofit that I started almost 6 years ago called the Price of Freedom Foundation. What we do is um, we research, we select, we uh, preserve, and we tell complete life stories of those who died following military service to our nation. The book you were holding up there, Zach, is our first publication. It is the story of Machinist Mate First Class Alfonso Ostel Amos, who served in the U.S. Navy. He was born in the Philippines. He served in the Philippine Army prior to joining the U.S. Navy. He served as a machinist mate in the Navy for 18 and a half years and was lost at sea in October of 1998. And this is the story of that man and his family. And we had the great opportunity to present that book to his family and to those that helped us in putting this together on the deck of the USS Midway in San Diego last August, which was a ship that he was twice assigned to when it was active and he was around. So this is the sort of thing that we do to honor their memories, to keep their memories alive, to keep them from falling into the dustbin of history, and to honor those families. And so we have six other stories that we're working on, but the need is so much larger than all of
Yeah.
this. So that's what motivates me, and it's what drives me to work at gigs so I can earn the money that can be poured back into this. Since we have no corporate sponsors, we have no monthly donors. I've been done a fantastically terrible job at marketing that, and so yeah, I need to fire myself.
Well, I know that you are, however, one of our mission partners, and hopefully,
Yes,
with the new app, that'll be something that you'll be able to take and utilize, as we all will be able to. Dennis, our question of today is: what is a lesson that you have learned that can help others?
gosh, I've been around this planet here for 68 years. There's a lot like that, but I guess what I would say is that there are transitions that everybody goes through in life. And too many times I saw in myself and others that I'm close to that we get locked into this mindset of this is how things need to be. This is who I am. I was a military officer, lieutenant colonel when I retired. And so I was locked into this sort of mindset of this is what it means to be. And then when you're not wearing the uniform anymore and people aren't excited about offering you a job, then that really challenges us. And it put me into a tailspin. But there are lots of other things that can cause this sort of thing. Somebody suffering a financial crisis that was not of their making. Kids growing up and moving out of the house. It all causes us to question our identity. And so what I would say is that the advice is you are more than what you do. You are more than your role as a father. You are more than your role as a husband or spouse, or being both genders here. You are more than these things that you may define yourself as. And take some time while you're still comfortable where you're at to ask yourself the question, who am I? Who am I? So that when that transition, when that crisis, when that upsetting thing happens in your life, and it will happen at some point, that you are not tossed into that pit of depression that so many of us have experienced. And that goes back to what we started with, Zach, about talking about giving people a reason to go on and to choose something other than suicide.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fantastic. I appreciate you joining us. Stick around as long as you can. And I do appreciate it. I did just want to mention, and I don't think I've done a terrible job at mentioning this, is that we don't have to register every time. I don't want to do that to you. In the chat is the copy of the Google Doc. I just put it in there. If you ask for the permission to be the editor in there, I'll accept it. And that way you can make any additions to your profile that you would like. But we want people to have that profile that they can go to. So if they hear you when we play this live on the PAC channels, they can take and say, I heard that Dennis or I heard Holly talk. How do I get a hold of her? It'll have all your information in there. We want to make sure that people can get a hold of you. And of course, with the networking, you've got a limited amount of time when you can talk, but we want to make sure that people have all the access
Appreciate
that
that.
we can offer to them. So please go on there. There's also a video in there where I try to explain how you can take and copy and paste the information we need and go about filling it out real quick to where it's not a royal pain in the butt.
Got it. I will
Even though it's a
definitely
Google
do
Doc,
that.
so it's a royal pain in the butt, but still. Yeah. So, Holly, you want
I'll
to go
definitely
next?
do that when we're finished. But yes, I'd love to hear about that.
Sounds good.
Well, it's awesome. I get to meet a new person, Dennis. My name is Holly Miller, and what you were just saying really spoke to me. What I do for a living is I use neuroscience and quantum physics to help people reset the subconscious programs of their brain. So just in regards to what you were just saying, that we're not just a spouse, that we're not just our job, that we're not just our past trauma. It's so true. What you're really saying, if I can be so brazen as to paraphrase what I heard you say, was that that's just noise of the world telling you what you are. When you're in the military, I grew up in a military home. My mom was in the Air Force. My dad was Marine, always Marine apparently. Hoorah, right? That was the program, right? I was a military brat. I lived in a very dictatorship household, and had all of the different types of programs that we have based on our own personal stuff. And society, I'm a woman. I'm the only woman on here, so I'll just tell you what society tells me. They tell me that I'm a white woman, that I am supposed to work, but I'm not supposed to make as much money as my husband because I can't, make him feel less than, right? I should be the one taking care of the kids. I should be the one taking care of the household and running it, and my husband should be the disciplinarian. That's society telling me how I'm supposed to behave. I'm supposed to be pretty, but I can't be too pretty because I don't want to make other women uncomfortable. I need to be skinny, but I can't be too skinny because I don't want to look anorexic. That's not too good. All of these different programs, and we all have them. You as somebody from the military, Zach is somebody from a traumatic motorcycle accident. Mr. Z in his world of internet, he's supposed to know everything. He's the go-to guy, right? Papa John, he's got this persona as well that everybody has expectations of. But the truth is, that's a bunch of crap. It's a load of crap. None of that stuff matters because who you are at your core is nothing to do with any of your past, and it has nothing to do with who you identify as or what your job may be. We are that person who we were when we were 4 years old and carefree before the world started to tell us who we were. And that's what I help people get back to, is to just that 4-year-old kid with zero programs and no conditioned responses on how to behave. And we're just authentically who we are. It's really fun to be able to do that. So I loved what you said.
And Holly, I just sent you a message. I wanted to ask you privately before I tried to ask it out loud. You don't mind? Holly, you went through something very, very, very traumatic when you were a young girl, a teenager, and you had and when you told this story the other day, it damn near had me in tears because I'm not sure how many of us would have been able to have the conversation that you had. Can you please tell us about this conversation?
Sure. So when I was 14, I was kidnapped and I was raped alongside a good friend of mine who inevitably died 37 years later, and as a direct effect of the trauma that happened to her. A few weeks back, I received an email from a lady that I had never met before, but found me because I do public presentations for sexual abuse and prevention of sexual abuse. And she wrote me an email and she said, "Hey, I know who you are, and I've been meaning to really reach out to you, but I haven't felt that the timing is right yet. And I wanted to introduce myself. I am the sister of the man that kidnapped you and raped you, and I want to have a conversation with you." Um, she lives locally to where I live, and I was really thrown off. I never in a million years had expected that to happen. And come to find out, she was abused by her brother. Her other sister was abused by her brother. And her niece, who was 5 years old, had been abused, which was her father. And that part I knew. I knew about the abuse of his daughter. And so we sat down and we met and we talked, and it was I think a really beginning of a beautiful thing for her to be able to release a lot of her emotional baggage that she's carried around. And I was able to refer her out to one of my colleagues to help her get reset. And I know she's had at least one session. I think her second session was this week. I'm not sure if she's gone to it yet. And in the meantime, I've also met with her other sister, and the three of us have sat down and we've had conversations. And there's been a lot of dots connected that I didn't even know were disconnected, and a lot of answers to a lot of questions that I didn't even know I had. And I know that they have felt the same. And the next step is me meeting his daughter, and she's close to 40. I have to look at the math. She's 14 years younger than I am, and I'm almost 54. So yes. No, she's actually not 14
40.
years younger. She's 9 years younger than I am. So she's in her 40s.
Um,
And so just more stuff. And just yesterday, well, over the past weekend, but I just started to talk about it yesterday. I have an idea of talking to all of these women and co-writing a book from each of our different perspectives of the same person.
Oh, I wonder who gave you that idea.
Zach, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody has talked to me about writing a book.
Yeah. Oh, I
But
don't doubt it.
never has the idea of co-authoring
Have you introduced
been
her
in
to
my head.
Anissa, Zach?
What's that?
Have you introduced her to Anissa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I believe I did introduce you to Anissa at one point in time.
I actually had
Um,
a conversation with her, I think, or
Yeah.
maybe
I
we
got, I
haven't
got another
scheduled.
lady that I network with that she's involved with a
Yeah.
networking group that deal with sexually traumatized women. So I will introduce you to her as well, Holly. She's
yeah, and
I
see
have my
one of the
meeting with Anissa's tomorrow.
you're gonna love her. She's beautiful. She's a wonderful lady.
she's a
I don't want to tell
sweetheart.
you a lot about her, but I know she's a great, great person. One of the things that Holly didn't talk about is the mother of these family members ended up writing a book. We brought up a book and tried to excuse her son's actions. And so this was something that the sisters probably were looking at, Holly, and they couldn't understand that why is mom giving him an out and we're the ones who had to be punished. So I know when you told me, and I appreciate you putting yourself out there on this because this is such I mean, you caught me off guard when you told me because I knew the story of the mom and when you said, yeah, the sister reached out to me, just having the nerve, the courage to say, sure, I'll talk to the sister. I was like, oh, I'm not sure I would have been able to do that. But instead of hiding or avoiding it, you put yourself out there. And not only do I think you're helping yourself, obviously you're helping other people and that's just a testament to who you are, and that's one of the reasons why I respect you so very much. So, and I appreciate you putting that out there.
You know what, Zach, to quote you, something like, if we keep our mouths shut, we're hurting everybody. Something along those lines, right? What's your quote? If you're not
Yeah.
helping somebody, you're hurting everybody.
Yep.
And we never shut up. And that has really stuck with me, Zach, ever since you said that. It was just never to shut up. And I'm just going to keep talking until somebody hears me, until the right
Absolutely.
person
Good for
hears
you.
me.
Yeah.
We're not friends on LinkedIn, Holly. Um, Zach, can you give us an introduction?
Yeah, I'll do my best to introduce you guys, Papa, but I'll also send an email to you two directly so you guys can so you two can get into conversations. Welcome, Kurt. How you doing, buddy?
Absolutely wonderful. It's a great thirsty Thursday. I've been drinking lots.
Yeah, have you? Yeah, you sound like you're drunk. So,
Yeah, drunk on that H2O.
oh, there
That's
you
strong stuff right there.
yeah. So, hey, Papa, why don't you go on ahead and give us your introduction and then oh, Holly, first off, what is a lesson that you have learned and that can help others?
It's to never shut up, Zach.
There you go. I love it. I've heard that
Was
before.
that a 2-foot kick or just a 1-foot kick,
Yeah.
Holly? Because
Hey.
he deserved that one.
Yeah. It's hey, God gifted me with three very large things, a big butt, a big gut, and a big mouth, and I'm going to use them all to try to spread good words. So,
There you go. Awesome. Hey, most of you guys, I've done this a couple times, and Zach does wonderful. And you did an awesome job a couple weeks ago, buddy, with your 22 hours, except you didn't respond to my last email that I sent you. I wanted to support you some more, but that's okay. You were getting a little tired and a little overwhelmed, and you were, using the staple gun to put the eyelids up, I think. It wasn't just the toothpicks anymore.
I did the old Tom and Jerry trick. I drew the eyes above my, made it look like I was awake.
Yeah. Hey guys, once again, I'm Santa Papa John, and I create happy, joyful, positive memories for businesses and families. I do custom thank yous for businesses. I do voiceovers. I do commercials for families. I do happy birthday videos, Santa check-in videos, and now my newest one, of course, I've been doing for a while, is custom created stories, where I read stories to families. I'm up on the big screen and I say the children's names in the story that I'm actually reading. And that has opened up a few doors for me, and people are loving the idea because it's creating that special memory for not only the kids but for the families as well. And of course, biggest comment I'm hearing is, mommy, daddy, do it again, play it again, because Santa said my name. So, you're creating a wonderful moment in time for not only the children, but for the families as well. And of course, my other website, The Warriors Beacon of Hope, which is growing slowly and steadily and positively, where I'm creating a nationwide list of services for our veterans. I'm creating a networking of the site also includes meetings, because we all know how important it is for the communication factor for our veterans to continue on. And I also have a list of scholarships on there for children and grandchildren of veterans. And it's amazing how many people have said, I've been looking for different stuff like this and I cannot seem to find it. Well, I'm hoping that this list is going to grow and continue to be a very positive influence and a portal for our veterans to help them get the need and the services and the communication that they need to live a wonderful life. That's me.
Well, Papa, what is a lesson you have learned that can help others?
Always be willing to help others as well. Don't close your doors to different reasons that are not a good enough reason to close a door on somebody. Holly's opened her mind and her eyes and her memories to many different people. And just because she went through a bad influence, we have to take our own personal bad influences, our bad actions, and turn them into positives. Because if you don't, it's going to chew you up and eat you out and spit you out. But Holly, I'm also on a board of directors for a Canadian national nonprofit that does mental addiction, alcohol addiction, and drug addiction recovery. So I am well aware, and my ex was a drug and alcohol counselor. So I know some of those stories. I know some of the points, and we can't close the doors when people get down and out. But I also understand the fact that you can't help them until they're willing to accept that they need help. And that is such a hard, traumatic point on someone watching, especially a loved one going down the rabbit hole and going, come on, I can help you if you're willing to accept the help. And it's so sad that many people get into that situation where they're not willing to accept it yet, and they need to go further into that rabbit hole. And Holly, I've talked to many different women that have gone through what you have. In fact, my wife has gone through the same thing. And you have to keep talking and listening to you and seeing the look on your face. You can tell that it's painful to talk about it, but on the other hand, It's giving you a bright light that's leading you to so many new open doors. Don't ever stop talking about it. Don't ever stop sharing about it, because there's too many morons in the world that do this to not only women, but they do it to men. And men are a harder nutshell to crack because they won't talk about it. So find the groups, find the people, because there's always people that are going to want to listen.
Yeah. It's just it never should have to happen to people. Unfortunately, it does, but regardless of who it is, and it's not going to be an easy story to start.
No,
I know Holly, you had mentioned once before that, you didn't come out right away, and there was a lot of things that you started that you had to fight through. So again, if you've never heard Holly's story, please have a meeting with her. She's a wonderful person. If you know somebody who needs her help, and go to the listed form, get her information. If you need me to get a hold of her for you, please just reach out to me. If you've got somebody who needs that help and needs somebody to talk to, let us know. Holly's here. She's going to talk to you. She's a resource. She can't make everything better, but she can tell you a whole hell of a lot of things that can help you. So, not help you get over it, get through it. So, Z, you're up, my brother.
Why, thank you, brother man Zach. And I want to say it's great to be here. Thank you, Zach. And it's great to see you, Holistic Holly, Captain Kurt, and of course, Santa Claus himself. What a delight it is. Feeling holly and jolly and Kurtastic here in this great event. So thank you, brother Zach, for putting this all together. I like what you said about not just getting over it, but getting through this. And that's the core of what Holly was mentioning before. It's not about what we know, it's how much we really care about one another. And I want to just share about who I am, what I do, and as you probably may or may not know, I'm a web developer and I am also a consultant that specializes in supporting nonprofits, veteran business owners, and honest entrepreneurs and philanthropists like yourselves who are looking to make Z World a better place. I also like to mention that I do run a website called Z World Cares, which allows nonprofits to showcase their nonprofits, accept donations, attract donors and volunteers. And I want to give a special shout out to Zach, everyone here, and of course, Captain Kurt. He was kind enough to introduce me to a guy named, not guy, a special person named Todd from CARES Foundation. And thank you for that introduction. I really do appreciate it. His story, and hopefully he'll be here one of these days. It's truly saddening to know what has happened to his family and the fact that he's taking that pain into something positive that no other person should ever go through. So again, thank you, Captain Kurt, for that introduction and talk about CARES Foundation and Z World Cares. And it really means a lot that all of you here show Z World that you care, especially brother Zach, for what you're doing to bring all these great people in here to talk about the importance of not just, I guess I should shut up, but spread awareness of what's out there that we should support those too. And again, really captivating what you said. It's not about just get over it. Life happens. Let's go through this together. You don't have to go through it alone. And that's why I really appreciate the community pay it forward with everyone here. That pays it forward first.
Well, as you've already heard a couple times, never shut up. Never shut up. So, what is it? What is the lesson you have learned that can help others?
Well, um, I can't top what everyone else said, but I will just say this. If you fell down yesterday, stand up today. Because David Goggins once said, I'm a big fan of his, and speaking of veterans, why not? Every failure that you go through, it's just an attempt. And once you fall down, you dust yourself up, dust yourself off, and you say, Roger that, and keep moving forward. And it's not over till it's over.
I love it.
Thank you.
So, Captain Kurt, you are up.
Thank you. So yeah, I enjoy being an ambassador with Project iHeart, combating veteran suicide by spreading hope to veterans. And, we're enjoying a lot of partnerships. I've been really attending to being U.S. chair of the Impactful Veterans Network with Spirit of the Game, and helping in coordinations with People for a New America and the Veterans Committee with that group, and Veterans First Initiative, which was organizing for May 3rd, but the announcement is they felt they need another month, so we're looking at a telethon now June 7th. So the first Saturday in June, we're moving that to. Um, you know, so so just enjoying a lot of work and, finding a lot of agreement across the country, and people even outside of the country working with us on serving U.S. vets and veterans all around the world. Um, and I really got to this place really first having a devotion for Americans with disabilities, and then it became people with disabilities all around the world. So it becomes an all and out social justice movement, and helping people attend to marginalized populations, forgotten populations, the idea of out of sight, out of mind. So it's a huge marketing endeavor. So this whole business of live streaming and podcasting and social media, it's a real deal. And to jump right into the question about, what I've learned that helps other. I mean, first of all, I'm observing that the answer is in the question. And you ask about helping others, and what do I learn that helps others? It's to keep that going. The idea of community pay it forward, paying it forward, helping others. And they even look at in personal and professional development, the value you bring to another person is what cultivates, making it real and equitable and something tangible. And, I was in a networking group earlier today that they were talking about, why some people came and they're not, we didn't see them again in a networking group, and they were talking about the value, because when we value this family networking, we keep coming back, right? So that's what it's all about, is really checking in on what value you're delivering, and then making sure it's a good fit, a good match. And that comes from conversations and talking. There are people concerned about the youth where, people who are 50 and older are scratching their head like, how are these kids going to tackle anything in the world, because they're so used to just hunkering in their phones. And we're just trying to understand, how do youngsters, teenagers cultivate relationships, and how are they going to collaborate and tackle things like we talk about here, community pay it forward. We just don't know, but I trust they're going to figure it out. I think our teenagers are just as smart as we were, and they're going to evolve, and they're just going to do it completely different, but they'll come in to close the gap just like we are. And so there's that intergenerational piece that we have to tend to. I talked to one of our senior citizens before coming in here and really talked. We talked for like about an hour, 20 minutes. We really got, came together. We're planning on meeting at a restaurant, 10 miles down the road from me. And we're going to do a lot of stuff here in Milwaukee. And so that intergenerational opportunity, and thinking about the demographics that you hang with, and pick some folks out there that you don't typically hang with, and get to hanging with them. That's what I did 10 years ago. I didn't hang around with people with disabilities that much until I started to really want to water ski with them, and then I built those relationships, and I'm like, whoa, why don't I do that more at my church? Why don't I do that more in the nonprofits? Why don't I do that more as I'm doing personal professional development, when I'm being a citizen, when I'm doing business, when I'm having fun? Just do everything with everybody. Back to you, buddy, Zach.
No, Kurt, and the timing of this is, I mean, just perfect. I was listening to a podcast yesterday with a young man who is a Gen Zer, and he was talking exactly like what you were just talking about. We worry about these kids. Well, how are they going to go, and how do they meet people? Can you believe that they actually have conversations going, I don't know how to meet someone face to face? They do have these conversations. It's funny when someone our age says that. Sorry, Z, I know that you're not quite there yet, but
Been
Gipper,
around since they discovered fire, but
yeah,
please continue.
yeah, Gipper. But you know, yeah, these kids actually do realize that. But it is funny because we do talk all the time about, well, how can we get these kids to work? These kids don't work today. The same damn thing they said about us. These kids don't. Look, the truth is, none of us could go out there and build one of the pyramids today. None of us could do that like they did it before. Why? Because we've learned how to do things different over the years. You know what? These kids are working really hard right now to make sure they don't have to go out and bust their butts like we do because they're going to do it smarter. Safer, I don't know, but but smarter. They're going to go out there, they're going to do it their way, and they're going to, lift and succeed their way. I do want to give Kurt all the credit in the world for introducing me to a wonderful day, which is the 28th of April, where he told me, "Did you know this was Global Pay It Forward Day?" And I was like, "No, I did not." So, had no idea. So, one of the things that we are doing for Pay It Forward Day, and this is to all my partners out there, please schedule a meeting with us because we're going to take and we're going to put together a video. And it's just like a little 2, 3 minute video that introduces you to everyone. And we're going to play all these videos on Pay It Forward Day. We're really going to make this a day on why we are in the Pay It Forward family. Why do we do what we do? We do it because you've heard the stories right here. All of us care about what is going on in the world. None of us want to see bad things happen. We want to take and we want to help people however we can do it. So we're going to take it on Pay It Forward Day, which is the 29th. I'm going to put together a podcast that's going to run probably a little bit longer, but we're going to put all these videos together and we're going to introduce who you are and help people to come to you when they've got the problems that you can satisfy. So please make a meeting with us. We're going to record that video and we're going to have a little bit of fun with it as well. I've got the first couple done, and I've examples of with my companies that I've done them and tried to make me look good, but that just didn't work. So I
Because
just
you were in the
focused on the
pictures.
fish. So, that's the best way to do it. And I do that talking fish guy. I think that would have been great. So, one of the things that I learned, and the reason why this question came up is, do you know why a what is it? Do you know why a koala bear is not really considered a bear? Anyone?
Too much cuddling with a koala bear.
Uh, he doesn't
Hmm.
have the koalifications. Thank you, Z.
No,
No,
that was great. That was
that
great. Way to go
that
down under.
that's actually not it. But one of the things that I've learned to love, um, and I thought my dad was one of the most brilliant people in the world when he told me this. And I've been walking around the majority of my adult life trying to remember this saying, and the saying was, if you don't lie, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. I think it's a great saying, and I always thought my dad was a damn genius. Come to find out, my dad saw that on a pool hall wall. It was a sign on a pool hall wall. So my dad wasn't a genius, he was drinking. Still makes a lot of sense though. Be yourself when you're out there. Tell the truth. Yeah, and that's exactly what I told Z earlier too. Yeah. He asked me that question, the koala bear question, and I'm like, because it's a marsupial. And he goes, "Oh, you ruined it with science." But if you tell yourself, if you're honest with yourself, you don't have to remember who you are supposed to be. Go out there, be the best you there is. We don't need you to be like everyone else. We need you to be who you are, because who you are is good enough. Be yourself, bring your experiences. Again, you're seeing 5 people on the screen right now who are trying to use what we've learned throughout our lives to try to empower other people and lift other people. You've got that in you as well. Even if you don't think there's much value in what you've done, you've had an experience that can really help somebody through a difficult time. So make sure, please make sure that you always are open to listening to what people are saying. One of the things that was mentioned a little bit earlier, but you know what? If somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, look, you're really not acting like yourself," don't take that as an offense. Okay? Be very careful with that. Maybe it is time that you take and look at yourself. And I know when somebody comes at you and they go, "You're acting a little, weird." For me, I'm like going, "Yeah, it's Tuesday, whatever." Or back in my drinking days, well, it's Thirsty Thursday or Thirsty Friday or Thirsty Saturday or Thirsty. It was a day
Doesn't
that
matter
ended
what
in
day
a
of the
Y.
week is when you were thirsty.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So, but it's not somebody's going to come after you to attack you. Think of it as somebody who cares and somebody who really wants to make sure that you're feeling okay. All right, so don't take it as you're being attacked. Listen to what they have to say. Really take a deep look at yourself and see, is there something that I need to take care of? So that's kind of what I've learned. Holly, who can you help today and how can we help you?
Well, I think that there's not a human being alive that couldn't benefit from stopping the noise of the subconscious mind. So, just a matter of listening to your body and believing what your body tells you. So, if you have a physiological response to anything, whether it's a comment, a social media post, or somebody who cut you off in traffic, that's your cue to know that that is a program or a conditioned response that does not belong to you and it's available to be reset. So just understanding that you don't have to take ownership of that because it's not yours to own. And that's what I'd like for people to know. And I think that's it, Zach.
Well, again, Holly, thank you so much for opening up. Thank you for allowing me to share your story through you because it really did. It touched my heart. And because I've interviewed you before on your story, it was great to hear that you were able to do that. So, Papa John, who can you help today and what can we do to help you?
Well, Mr. Zach, great conversation from everybody today. Thank you. This is awesome. You know, the reality of helping each other is the key to success to help small businesses. When we all support one another, and I do a video every Sunday, Zach, you've seen it, you've been there. It's called Support Your Friend's Small Business Sunday, where I take a person or a friend that I know and quickly just make a little video and say, hey, who do you support today? It doesn't cost you a nickel, a dime, a quarter to support your friend's small business. And you share somebody's name, you share their website. That's the biggest thing that we all do to each other. We all boost each other, we all support each other, we all help each other. And that's pretty well what I'm looking for is someone to spread the word that, hey, I'm a pretty cool Santa and I make some cool videos to support families and friends and businesses. And in turn, I do it back to other people as well, you know. And if we can all keep building the circle bigger and bigger and bigger to support one another, we're all going to win eventually. It might take some of us a little bit longer than others, but we're all going to win.
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Hey, one of the things that you can do, um, is if you go to communitypayitforward.us, you can go to a miracle of a community that cares, and you can hear one example of a story that Papa John puts together, Shannon puts together using, and you think that you have a test for him? I had him use my 7 grandkids' names, and he did it. He built a story with my 7 grandkids' names. So you can see an example of what he does, and it was really kind of cool. I know my next to youngest granddaughter was sick on Christmas morning when we were playing that, but she woke up the next day and she's heard it a couple dozen times now. Let's just put it that way. When Grandpa went to go see her after Christmas, she was like going, "You know Santa Claus?" It was actually really kind of cool. So,
And that's the
um,
biggest comments I'm getting, Zach, is from mom and dads are, the kids are saying, "Mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, play it again because Santa said my name." So if you think about that, you're making a wonderful memory for the child and a wonderful memory for the parents.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Z, who can you help? How can we help you?
I'm always looking to help nonprofits, like everyone else here as well. Uh, and how you can help me is if you're willing to show the world that you care, please feel free to submit your nonprofit information onto zerocares.org. And I implore you, if you are a business owner or those who are listening, who is a business owner or someone who wants to support nonprofits, I definitely recommend going to the Community Pay It Forward because if you're one of the proud sponsors or power partners, there's always a way to give back to our community. And I just want to go back to what Santa said, and of course, Zach too. It's not about the videos and what you do, it's the memories that'll last forever. And a lot of you may be young to know her, but Whitney Houston once said, the goal isn't to live forever, it's to create something that will, just like her music. So that really resonated with me. And if I do this, we all eventually win, like Santa said. But if I can get out of that naughty list and get on that good list, then I think I'm on the right track. So I hope I can make Z World a better place by knowing all of you here and just supporting our nonprofits who uh, need the awareness and those that want to show the world that you care. So that's how I can try to help nonprofits and help me, help you, help this, bring it forward to the community, pay it forward. Back to you, brother man.
No, Z, you did it wrong. You hope,
I like that.
not hope. Come on, man.
Hope, hope, hope.
Second stupid dad joke of the day. So,
That's great.
Kurt, how can we, or what can you do to help someone? How can we help you?
Um, well, I enjoy being a community organizer. So if people are looking for a way to kind of amplify, expand, build a network, get more people involved, I love marketing. A lot of what I do is built out of a passion of serving over 100 groups the last 20 years of my life. And so I've seen a pattern that I've been with small groups of people like this, like the 5 of us, and thinking, what if it was 50 of us, type of things. So I'm all about scaling up. And that's why I got involved in TV and radio and the live streaming and, Amazon Fire, Roku, every which way we can get out there, the great stuff that people are doing. That's what I love to do. And in terms of, how people can help me is, I'm an ambassador with Project iHeart. We're always looking for, partners of any kind, ministry partners, resource partners, mission partners, any which way to help veterans. And um, we're running an event called Hope Stock, July 25th, 26th, 27th. And so anybody that can be a part of that, making it bigger and grander, would be greatly appreciated. And, we do podcasting like Zach does here. So if people are coming to Community Pay It Forward and getting all the attention that they want and they got an appetite beyond Pack Channel, Zach can help you get more exposure through what we do.
think what he's saying is that if anybody needs to talk about an appetite, go to the fat guy. He can help you out. So
We would never say that out loud.
What a translation. Wow.
anyway, um, uh, look, I'm gonna just go ahead and end this very and please, if anybody would like to be featured next week, reach out to me out of you three, and Holly and I can introduce you to people for people. It is a new program that's looking to do some amazing stuff. You probably won't be on our team, but maybe you can be on a team that's gonna, well, you're definitely gonna be on a team that's gonna change someone's life. So let's make sure that we can get you featured, at least get a couple more eyes on you. But look, Community Pay It Forward, we're here for one reason. We're here to help everyone. It's not impossible. We can do this. You help one person, your neighbor helps another person, that person helps someone else. By the end of the day, we've helped everyone. It's not impossible. We can help everyone with something. We don't have to help everyone with everything. There are some things that, you just don't want to help people with, but everyone needs help of some kind. Community Pay It Forward, and the five of us are here to make sure that we can help someone. So you can help me by reaching out to anybody you see on this screen. You can do business with them, and then you can help others when you do the business with them. So please reach out to them. And how can you help me? Make sure that you take and every day look in your closet. If you have that extra hoodie that you no longer wear, it's still cold outside. Don't take it to a thrift store. Don't put it in a yard sale. Put it in your car. If you see somebody struggling with the elements, give them that hoodie. It doesn't mean anything to you, but it could mean the life of them. You make too much food, which I often do, but throw it in the old hillbilly Tupperware. Throw it in an old butter bowl. Heat it up. Take it to somebody who's hungry. Again, means nothing to you, means everything to someone else. For Mr. Z, for Santa Papa John, for Holly Miller and Kurt Roskoff, my name is Zach Clayton, reminding you, if you're not doing something for someone, you're hurting everyone. Nobody needs to go it alone when we all come together. Thank you, and we will see you next month.
Woohoo!